Welcome back. Still with me via Zoom are Zwelakhe Mnguni from Benguela Global Fund Managers and David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities. Before the break, we were talking about Blue Label Telecoms. There is a rumor, the viewer says there's a rumor of a potential IPO of Cell C. Of course, at this point, that being a rumor. But a difficult market, as David highlighted, Zwelakhe, but looking like the cycle is good for telecoms. We've seen that with Telecom, Vodacom, MTN, even with MTN Ghana that came out with numbers today. But do you think Blue Label can participate in that with its holding of Cell C?
Yeah, I looked at Blue Label and Cell C in quite a lot of detail years ago. And I don't believe that Cell C is a business that can stand up on its own. I think you'll have cycles where they make offers that are attractive and they attract subscribers. But if you look at their ARPUs and you look at their subscribers, I mean, it's a tough position to be in. So you go and you rent the towers from Vodacom and Telecom and MTN. And then your margin is almost predefined. You can't do anything. So how do you compete with guys that can then use your bulk purchases basically to undercut you? So I don't think it's such a sustainable business. But I think Blue Label messed up a very good business that they had and by buying Cell C. But let's hope that they break away from it and then they can get back to the old business that they had.
Yeah, because a lot of people are actually view the business, the core business, actually in a positive light. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what they do in the next few years. Let's go into EOH. Ayoko share price increased, and in the last week it increased quite a bit. My average price is R3.67 with the current levels. Actually, this was sent last week, so not really sure where it is sitting at the moment. But with the current levels of R3.10, if I hold another 4 more years, can it pass R3.67 average price? R3.67. Oh, no, it actually gave up quite a bit. So it's at around R3 now. R3.67, David. I don't know how far it is.
Look, this is a new business all over again. I think new management. They should be doing well. You know, yes. When I say they should be doing well, because they're in they're in the right area in a digitized world where everybody needs services like they provide. And at one stage, they did provide a very good service until they went off the rails. And they've never come back. And I don't think they've got their Microsoft license back or Microsoft supplier back. But I mean, generally, if you look at Bytes and if you look at other businesses in this area, even Eltron and so on, it's a company that should be doing better than it is. But it's got so many legacy issues and so much to drag around with it that it just doesn't seem to be okay. So you've got new management there. Hopefully if they plug away at it, they can do something, but understand what you're buying. You know, it's a hard struggle for them to recapture where they once were. So
yeah,
you know, I'd rather go for the winners then.
Yeah.
We seem to be getting all these kind of companies that are trying to drag themselves up from the bottom. I'm sure you're going to ask about Sasol somewhere down the line as well. You know.
You know, there's always a question on Sasol. But it's quite interesting because the viewer's looking at this from an outlook of 4 years. But considering where it's come from, it was under pressure for more years than that. Can it actually take 4 years to get back to, I guess, its glory days, Zwelakhe?
I think the glory days are gone and probably gone forever. I think they, as David says, they're in such a hard space at the moment. I mean, to rebuild the credibility after all that they went through is going to be very hard. I think it would probably be a stock that traders can play around with, but it's facing some serious challenges in terms of rebuilding that credibility. So I'm not so convinced about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's a company that we don't talk about ever. Called Potash. There was a sense that they came out with today. I'll read it. But the viewer says, please simplify the sense. What is a term sheet and how does this impact me as a shareholder? I don't know how deeply you have gone into this one, David. Core trading has been halted in SA and Australia. Let me actually take a look at.
Is that what they've said?
So, yes.
Sorry,
so
I didn't see
yeah.
So they've been suspended.
Yeah. So trading halt, draft non-binding financing term sheet received. So it says. Located in the Republic of Congo, announcing it has requested the ASX to immediately halt trading in the company's shares. Also, the JSE, pending a further announcement on the draft financing proposal and associated draft non-binding term sheets for the Cola project from the Summit Consortium. So trading has been halted. You know anything about this business, David?
I leave it to Zwelakhe first. Then afterwards, I'll have a guess at what's happening there. Because it's odd that if they have raised capital, which is what the term sheet is, it gives the terms of what the raising will be.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they've suspended trading, which is not a good sign. It might be a good sign in the fact that they've got trading, but why would they suspend trading? That's the only thing that bothers me. I don't know much about the company other than when I ran my Crystal Challenge, the person who won it last year had Core Potash as one of his choices, which went up that's when I learned about it. But I must say I don't know much about it other than it operates somewhere in the Congo and certainly doesn't make money, hence the need for funding. It's still in the development stages. But I'll defer to Zwelakhe, who's probably been reading something while we've been talking and now has become an expert.
Not at all. No, I don't know the company well, but I mean, there is a experience to reference here. There's a company called Negen that was developing some asset in the Free State.
Yeah.
I think it was a hard slog to get that thing to be valuable. So if you're investing in a company like this, you're actually taking a big risk. I mean, in the DRC of all places, there is enormous amount of risk. The capital raising, even if they raise capital, I mean, to get the operations going, what if the M23 comes in and says, our assets? I mean, it's not a company that I'd look at personally.
Yeah, all right. Well,
you need your own personal army. When you go into the DRC, you got to hire mercenaries. You got to have it's like tough area. That's why the miners are so tough, yeah.
I'm actually going to make a commitment to try and track down the CEO so we can actually have a conversation on the company to enlighten our viewers as well. All right, let us get to your stock picks. David, what are you choosing today?
I haven't even thought about it. We've got 6 days of recovery in Trump land, and which is a good sign. But I think it's too early. I really believe that we still face a lot of ructions, and he's not a person who ever admits defeat. But the one thing that upsets him or hurts him is when the market falls. That's the one thing that rattles him. And but he can continue. He never admits defeat and always bends the narrative or bends the conversation, in his favor. But I like what I've seen, but I still think it's too early.
So you're choosing cash today?
I'm still a big fan. Yeah, I stay in cash.
Yeah.
I'm ready to pounce, but not quite yet. We need, as we spoke about when we started the show, we need certainty. You need certainty in this market, and until such time, all markets are going to be all over the place. So you're really playing kind of Russian roulette.
Okay, so you're choosing to sit on your money. David choosing to sit.
Come soon.
Okay, but Zwelakhe, what are you sitting on?
I'll give David a stock. He must buy gold. My stock is MCO. My stock is MCO. They are in the construction sector, but more mechanical and electrification kind of construction in the US. They certainly look like a business that has been able to consolidate the market in the US and has shown decent growth. It's expanding into the UK. I think with the data centers, they play in the space, in the data center space as their growth and building is developing there. So I'd like to think that it would probably longer term, it would deliver good returns for investors.
All right. Well,
what was the company?
MCO.
MCO. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your analysis today, gents. Much appreciated that you made the time in this short week. That is all for tonight's Stock Watch. Thanks to our guests, Zwelakhe Mnguni from Benguela Global Fund Managers and David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities. We'll be back with Stock Watch tomorrow and also on Friday. So please do keep us sending those questions. But up next, it's The Close. Stay watching. Thank you.